Hi, welcome to our Gemara Shir. We, Be'ezus Hashem, are going to finish today the 18th Perek of Shabbos, Mefanin. We were dealing with the topic yesterday. We were dealing with the topic of Hakozas Dam, that is um, bloodletting. I just heard from a friend today that doctors today do know that bloodletting meaning blood drive. Today we had in yeshiva where I teach there was blood drive. So to donate blood is healthy because it gets rid of excessive iron in the blood. And I guess that's what Rashi means when he says the heaviness in the blood. It's good to alleviate it to get it out of the system. So today denotes iron in the blood, and of course, as always, Chazal knew what they were talking about. So it's healthy to donate blood, and this is the modern version of bloodletting. Another point which I still have to clarify regarding yesterday, we spoke about the concept yesterday of Shomer Psoim Hashem. Kevin the Dashu Barabim Shomer Psoim Hashem. We said that sometimes there are things which are unhealthy to do, and yet if one does them, it's not the end of the world. Hashem will protect him because Dashu Beirabim, because many people do it. Everyone does that dangerous thing, so it's Shomer Psoim Hashem. So I saw Rebbe Elchanan Wasserman in Ksubas explains, I saw it this evening in Kovetz Shiurim in Ksubas, he says that the idea is that a person has to be careful and refrain from dangerous things. Otherwise, he cannot expect Hashem to protect him. As we also saw yesterday, if this is something that everybody else does, it's very hard to demand of the person not to do it. He has to do what everybody else does. It's not something also. He does what's normally done. That's the way society works. That's how the system works. And therefore, if he cannot protect himself because this is such a normally done thing, Mimela Hashem will protect him instead. But if this is something not done normally, you don't have to be the only Chochem who does put himself into danger, and therefore, then Hashem will not protect you if you don't protect yourself. So the idea is you can do what everybody else does within reason, of course, not if they do Averas, not if they do something super dangerous, but if this is something that has an element of sakana in it, but everyone does it and doesn't seem like anything bad happens, so then you can say, I'm not mechuyev to look after myself more than everybody else, then Hashem will take care of you instead. Okay, so this shir always is for the Ilui Neshama of my father, Menachem ben Akiva, for the refuah of all the cholim, and the Hatzalah. Yeah, Baruch Hashem, we had the three girls rescued and not rescued, released. Be'ezus Hashem, everybody else will come home very, very soon. Machriz Rav. Now here comes another agadic statement by Rav, and we're going to see exactly what it means. Machlokes Rashi and Tosfos. Let's go. We are in the third wide line of the page. Yeah. Machriz Rav. Kuf Kaftes Umud Beis. Machriz Rav. So Rav would announce loudly. Mer kari bezuza. 100 kari, 100 pumpkins, yeah, are worth buying for one zuz. It's normal. Kari, I guess they're cheap, they're good. You can buy 100 kari, 100 pumpkins from one zuz. Yeah, if you, yeah, let's say you can get them for very cheap, says Rashi, you can get very cheap 100 reishi, roish behema, the head of a behema, a nice piece of flesh of the head of the behema. You can buy it for one zuz. Go ahead and buy it. Sfami v'lo klum. Sfami, you know that in Hebrew, safam, like what the Metzora means, the mustache. Yeah, the sfami means the lips. Nearby. So sfami v'lo klum. In other words, the lips of the behema don't have any nutritious value. So don't buy them even for nothing, or maybe you can only get them if they cost zero. Don't spend not even one zuz, yeah, over to buy the animal's lips, the animal's mouth are not worth anything. There is no value to them. What's the connection? So Tosis really has a different shot. I want to see Tosis inside. Exciting today. But I saw that the pshat, according to Rashi, is we're speaking about healthy things. In other words, what are you supposed to eat after Kozos Adam? Meat, wine, these things, the spleen. So the animal's lips, they don't have that nutritional value. They're not as healthy as the rest of the body of the animal. Amar Yosef. Now, continuing what Rav was saying, Amar Yosef, Ki Avina Bei Rav Huna, when I was by the yeshiva of Rav Huna, Yom Mefagel Bei Rabbanon. There was a day in which Rabbanon were like pagra. They had like a day off, not an official one. Rashi says, "Misatzlin melavoy lebeis hamedrash." There was one day the Talmidei Yeshiva were too lazy to go to Beis Medrash. I guess even back then, they had that Amri. So they said, "Ha'id yom midisfamiu." Today is the day of the lips, or the day of the mustache. Today is that day. Lo yadanu, like Amri, I didn't know what they mean. Now I know what they mean. Why? Because the lips are not worth anything. Yeah, you sell your behemoth mouth for nobody would pay anything for that. So too, a day without Torah is worth nothing. A day you're too lazy to come to Bais Medrash, a Torah-less day is garnished. Yom Pagra. Says Tosfos. Let's have a look at Tosfos. Yeah, I don't know. The screen sharing is not working for me so well. Okay, Beseder. Says the Tosfos Azoy. Mea reishi bezuza, mea kare bezuza. Yeah, the third Tosfos. The Pirush Kuntas tema Masha Eichocho. What does one have to do the other? According to the Kuntas, what does the test? What does the lips have to do with the price of cheese with the Akoza Saddam? We gave an explanation, but Tosa says the Rach goes mer karni bezuza. According to the Rach, the Girsa is karni. What karni? Karni are the Akoza Saddam, the keren, the syringe. Mefarish mer reishi mer shebnei odom. What does it mean? Shoyim mina kotzav lesapar. The barber לגלח בזוזה, וכן מנהג, מהקרני להקיס בזוזה, כמו קרני דאומנה, which means that the barber would take for his haircut a zuz, out of a zuz for 100 people, whatever, but it was like a set amount, and also the akoza sadam, the bloodletter, would take a zuz. Aval, even 100 people. It sounds like, minag mea karni for one zuz. Yeah, so it sounds like. I don't know, it's very cheap. Yeah, mea reisha b'nei odom, with for one zuz. Yeah, he would give haircut for 100 people for one zuz. Aval mea sfami, the takin a sofa, to do the mustache, that was bevloi klum. Meaning, the beschar giluach v'akoza, takin a sofa, which means that that was like a bonus. If the person did already your hair and your kozas dam, also it did both. The barber and the haircut and the kozas dam, you do the mustache you do for free. That was like complimentary. So now, ubeyon shematakin sfama, you're going to tell klum. Let's say he would do the mustache when a different day. On Sunday, he did you up the whole cosmetic treatment, that causes down in the hair. But now on Monday, if you only did that, you wouldn't charge anything. That was the whole thing. That was included as a complimentary thing. Now, Ken Hoyle Moshel, that's what became a Moshel, for the Bittul Torah. Oh, which means anybody would work and not make any money out of their work, would try and work hard and not make any profit. There will be the day of the mustache. That was the idea, to show you worked and didn't get anything in return. That was the Yom Disfami. And so too, the Yom the Rabbanon, if they didn't learn, was worthless. That's for sure. Let's now go into the topic of baby care, newborn care on Shabbos. The kosher in the tabu, okay? Says the what kosher in the tabu, you're allowed to, not just allowed to, and you have to tie, basically tie the tabu, the belly button. You take the umbilical cord, and what do? You tie it. You make the knot so the baby's innards don't fall. And that's for sure sakana. That's for sure you can do to avoid sakana from the newborn. The kosher in the tabu, tono bono. Kosher in the tabu. Rabbi Yossi says you can do even more. You can even cut, because when you tie it and there's still a long piece of umbilical cord of the chevel tabu, you're allowed to cut that too. The question is if that's an Issa Dorabon or Doraisa. It's a discussion in the Mishnah Berurah. Rabbi Yossi says, even if it's Doraisa, it's allowed to cut the tabur. Rabbi Yossi believes it's a sakana, as we said in the Mishnah, Tiferet also says that it can get entangled, and therefore you should cut it. Chachamim believe no. Chachamim believe that if he stays with that piece of tabu, nothing's going to happen, and therefore they say you don't cut it. Halacha is the Rabbi Yossi. You do cut it. Yeah, if anybody knows the midwife, tell her, yeah, to cut the tabu. The time in the shilya, oh, this is like a segula thing. They would they would bury the shilia, the placenta of the woman, or the embryonic sac, kadesh yechem avlat, so the vlad gets warm. This is not scientifically so. This says mishmua segula hoyo etzlam. That is segula that if you bury the shilia, the vlad, the newborn, which is already out of the shilia, will keep warm. Now, where would you bury that? Where would you say before looking at the Gemara? Where do you usually bury stuff? In the ground. Oh, here you don't bury in the ground. The Benois Melochim, the princesses, the fancy women, they would be toim and they would bury it in a jug, in a cup of oil. The daughters of the rich people, not so royal but rich, they would bury it in a sfog, like sfog shel tzemer, basically like what do you say? Sponges of tzemer menupat. So she says tzemer, which is nicely combed. Yeah, well combed wool. The combed wool, they would bury it in the wool. The daughters of the poor people, they would bury it in the shmatis. Something very, very interesting. Yeah, as we're going to see later, there's the issue whether all these things are allowed to be done even at the expense of the Rabbanon, or just the Rabbanon, or even expense of the Oraisa. This, the Mishnah Berurah points out. Mishnah Berurah is always is a terrific parish from the Gemara, you should know. And the Mishnah Berurah is surprised. Mishnah Berurah says that this clearly you don't bury in the ground, because that segula is definitely not worth being over in the Oraisa. If anything, the Rabbanon, but not the Oraisa. And to bury in the ground is the Oraisa, that for sure don't do. We're going to see more on the topic. It says Rav halacha Rabbi Yossi, meaning you're allowed to cut the tabur. We view the cutting of the tabur as something which is necessary for the existence, for the health of the baby. The Omar Rav Nachman, Omar Rav Omar Rabbi Yossi, Chachamim agree with Rabbi Yossi. If you have twins, Mazel Tov, twins were born, then for sure you can cut the cords of both of them, even according to Rabbanon, who don't view it as crucial. My time, why? They can get entangled with each other. They can pull from each other, and there's a sakana. Yeah, if you don't cut it, I don't know the umbilical cord. They have two or one. I don't know how it works, but at the end of the day, the whole balagan can be menatchi. They can pull from each other as they move a little bit, or somebody else moves them, and then what's going to happen? They're going to be in danger. Okay, is cutting the tabor a problem? D'oraisa or d'Rabbanon? Two opinions in Mishnah Berurah. One opinion says it's just the Rabbanon. I'm cutting a piece of skin. Another opinion, there are a few opinions. There are a few who hold it's a d'oraisa. I saw something very interesting in the Mishnah Berurah of the Dirshu. He brings down the Shem Sefer Shoshanim LeDavid. I think Shoshanim LeDavid. He says that it could be a problem d'oraisa because he says the tabor here, the Rambam Shoshanim LeDavid. It's an iso d'oraisa because it's like cutting from a tree. I don't know, cutting something from a person. Outside goises, he says it's koitzer, whatever. But one thing, the koir it's goises like nails. Apparently it's not. Yeah, but there is a problem with iso d'oraisa maybe. But we pass on the Rabbi Yossi that you're allowed to do it because we hold it's a sakona. So even d'oraisa you can do. Now we're going to talk about the third statement here of Rav. Let's give a small introduction. Look at the Novi. Yeah, the Novi here. The Novi in I just saw it this evening. The Novi brings down a whole description of how Klal Yisrael in this week's parsha. Klal Yisrael were in Mitzrayim. Klal Yisrael were in Mitzrayim. I'm sorry about that. And Klal Yisrael were like a baby born without anybody taking care of him. Yeah. So basically, what was the story? The Navi says like this. Read the words of the Navi. It says, when you were born, says Hashem to Klal Yisrael, you're not taken care of like a baby should be. Lo kol hatzorech, they did not cut your umbilical cord. V'mayim lo uchatz lamishi, they didn't wash you in water. Ve'homlach lo gumlach, they did not salt your skin. Ve'hochte lo uchtalt, they did not wrap you up with the proper, diapers, clothes to make sure that you remain intact. We all know the pasuk, yeah, that's the following pasuk. Because Baruch Hu tells Klal Yisrael, "You betrayed me. You're in Mitzrayim like a baby that's been neglected and completely. The Mitzrayim didn't take care of you, and I was the only one who found you in your blood. And I, like a foundling, I found you, took you out, and took care of you. And now you betray. How can you be like that? How bad can you get?" Says the Novi to Klal Yisrael. Yeah, that's a pasuk there, right in the Novi in Yecheskel. Based on those, the pasuk describes four things you're supposed to do to the baby that are basic things. And if they're not done, he's considered as an abandoned baby, as a neglected baby, and only Hashem took care of them. From those things, you can learn what you're supposed to do to the chaya, and even on Shabbos, and to the baby. All the actions that are mentioned in Parsha of Techocho against Klal Yisrael, oisin chaya b'Shabbos. For the chaya and the baby mainly, you do it on Shabbos. Shenema, it says, well, the taich b'yom huledes oisach, when you were born, lo kalat sorech, yeah, they didn't cut your sorech, your cord. B'mayim lo chatz lamishi, you were not washed with water to smoothen you. V'homlech lo homlach, they did not salt you, which is to harden the skin. V'hochte lo chtalt, you were not wrapped with the proper wrappings. Goes the Gemara is going to elaborate on each one. Well, the time like this, you can't Shabbos. That's the source. You meyaled, you deliver the baby on Shabbos. Let me ask you a question. If not for the Novi, wouldn't we know? To pikuach nefesh, of course. Wait until we read Tosfos. Yeah, if that's your question, wait. Now, lo korat sorech, because shechot chelet b'Shabbos. If he wasn't down to Klal Yisrael, allegorically speaking, then here we learn that it's such a necessary thing, you're allowed to, and therefore supposed to, cut the cord on Shabbos. U'b'mayim lo chatz lamishi, because sherochtzin avlad b'Shabbos. You wash the baby on Shabbos, even with hot water, as we'll see later. What's lamishi? To smoothen the skin. You wash him to make his skin nice. Yes? V'homlech lo homlach. What does it mean, homlech lo homlach? Because shemoilchin avlad b'Shabbos. You salt the baby on Shabbos. What does it mean? You spread some salt, or today would be like talc. The Rambam says all kinds of powders, b'sor miskasha, to harden the skin, to stabilize the skin, to make his skin, firmer. That shows you're allowed to wrap the baby on Shabbos with the cloth. Now, Zog Tosfos, look at the last Tosfos. Today is the day to do Tosfos. Lav mikro mapik. It's not like we need this pasuk to be the source for everything. And my proof is what? Giving birth. Delivering the baby, we know it's not from the pasuk. We know from the pasuk, v'chai behem, right? Pikuach nefesh. Ela mistome. Kevin sheba b'pashas toichocho in kensar hu imen oisim imen aisin, right? The fact that it's mentioned in toichocho means that if you don't do it, it's tsar. If you don't do it, it causes pain to the baby. Says Tosfos, I don't know about giving birth actually, but all the other actions, yeah, the washing and the powder and the lipuf, it's tsar to the baby, but it's not pikuach nefesh. How do you know it's not pikuach nefesh? Because the Tosfos holds only isur derabbanan you can break for it, not Yisrael Doraisa. And that is really machlokes still today, as the Mishnah Berurah says. I'm reading from the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says, yeah. So the Magen Avraham says, Mishnah Tosis, Ein oisin melacha dorasim shel dvorim elu. You don't break the doraisa for that. Lefizeh, for example, im enu sakin achtoch hatibur, v'tzorch lavio derech reshus harabim. Let's say you need scissors to cut the baby's cord, and there isn't any. And the only way is to do what? Only a yid can take it through Rishus Harabim. There's no going. It's in Mesharim. So what do? Also, you're not allowed to bring it. Just tie it and don't cut it. Why? Because we're not over the Raisa. However, the Mishnah Berurah brings kind of a proof that Ardas Rishonim the Mutter Lechal Melocha Doraisa B'Shvil Zeh. Right? Some Rishonim hold, unlike Tosfos, that these are even Isur Doraisa. You can be over Isur Doraisa too for these things. That's what Tosfos holds. And not Tosfos. That's what other Rishonim hold, and therefore, l'chatchila, you better do the Rabbanon. But if you can't do it with the Rabbanon dik away, you can do the Doraisa. Okay, good. Right? So what's the pasuk telling me? The pasuk is just giving me kind of a list of things that are normally done to a baby. They're either important and you can do a Darbanon for them, break a Darbanon for them, or they're super important and essential, you can even break a Doraisa. These are the two levels, we're not sure what. Mazel tov, Adon lach mefani, no, Adisham, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. Oh, we're dancing, Kuf Lamed Amud Aleph, Kuf Lamed Amud Aleph, and we're starting Bezos Hashem, the new parak, all about Bris Milah, anything you wanted to know about Bris Milah on Shabbos and otherwise. A lot of halachas to do with Bris Milah in general are learned from this parak. New parak, exciting and new. Rabbi Eliezer Oimer, we learned in the previous parak, that one is allowed to do anything that a baby needs on Shabbos, including the needs of the Milah. Which means you're allowed to make a bris milah on Shabbos. Bris milah, as we all know, can be performed on Shabbos. And the source for that, by the way, will be learned in our perek. This perek, by the way, I'm preparing you now, is full of droshes. There are many droshes, how you learn this and that from the psukim. And we're going to learn the source. We're going to get the source. How do you know that bris milah can be done on Shabbos? When you do bris milah, it's a problem. Why? You either over dash, Sovea, Shchita. There are three reasons, different Rishonim, why injuring a person is also, and Mila is an injury. However, Mila is allowed on Shabbos, in most cases, not in all cases. Now comes the Mishnah and elaborates on that. Let's say someone, the Moel, forgot to bring the Kli to the house where the Mila is done. He did not bring the vessel, i.e. the knife, Me'erev Shabbos, and there's no Eruv around town, Mevi'od Shabbos Megule, which means, says Rabbi Eliezer, not only the Milah itself pushes away Shabbos, the Machshirei mitzvah of Milah, the preparation for the Milah, the prerequisites for the Milah, they too push away Shabbos. So if you forgot to bring the knife, don't even have to call a goy. That's another question, but make your din. There's a question here in the Meforshim, Dchuya or Hutra, but generally speaking, you can go yourself and bring the knife on Shabbos, right? You're allowed to bring the knife on Shabbos through Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayachid, no problem, and with no Eruv, and Megula. Megula means you leave the knife uncovered. We're going to see why, but generally speaking, I'll tell you now the main reason. Megula, people should not suspect you that you're hiding something else. So let's say you bring the knife in a hidden bag. Who knows what else he has over there? Says Yachne to Yente. So you have to make sure you're not suspected, and therefore bring the knife uncovered, exposed. Ubesakono. What happens in times lo aleinu when bris milah was forbidden, which unfortunately happens today too in some countries. In the case of sakon, you can't bring it uncovered because the goyim would, find out. Mechaseu al pi edim. You cover it upon two edim. Mean you cover it because the goyim shouldn't find it. You get two edim, two other edim, to watch as you bring the knife and you put the knife into the bag. And according to some Achronim, they have to follow you throughout the street. According to some, no. But the Eidim have to be aware of the fact that what you put inside is just a knife and not a newspaper, not your slippers and not your whatever glasses. You just put in the knife, and those Eidim will be able to protect you in case people suspect you're the moyel, you're the one bringing the sakin. People suspect and say, what else did he put there? Maybe some kugel metagale. Maybe. So we'll say, no, there are two Eidim, kosher Eidim, big white beards they have, yeah? And they can say that really all I put inside was just a sakin. Yeah? To no, not to be moitzilaz. So chesel pi Eidim. The Odom Ablezer, furthermore, said Ablezer, even more than that, koil sim eitzim, you're allowed to cut wood, lasos pechomin, to create coals, lasos kli barzel. Wow, look at that. Such a chain reaction. Let's say on Shabbos you don't have a knife. You want your knife to be made out of iron, a good knife. You don't have the knife. You know what you can do? Listen to this. You're allowed not only to fashion the knife itself, you're allowed to cut wood in order to make fire. That fire is there in order to create the kli, right? Wow, ad kedei kach. Says Oblezer, no end. In other words, if you need to do a whole bunch of melachos, even machshirim, Rabbi Lezer still allows you to do that. Ad kedei kach, Rabbi Lezer says, when a mitzvah is allowed to be done on Shabbos, on the expense of Shabbos, then all the prerequisites, all the preparations, all the machshirim they come along with it. That's Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Akiva argues. Klal Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva argues on Rabbi Lezer and says, "Kol melacha she'efshar lasos erev Shabbos eina doicho eser Shabbos." No, any melacha that can be done before Shabbos does not push away Shabbos. Could, yeah? Was it possible for you to bring the knife before Shabbos? Yes, mister. You forgot you this, yeah? The baby was born 8 days ago. Where were you all the time? You could have brought the knife before Shabbos. You didn't. You could have definitely created the night before Shabbos. You didn't. Tough luck. What do? Either you over the Rabbana, our solutions. Yeah, goy. Through a goy, yes, in Furish. You can tell the goy to go through Rosh Hashanah, which is not the Raisa. Tell the goy to go through Carmelis. Yeah, that's halacha. Yeah, but the Raisa you can't break. If there's no goy, no the Rabbanon, push the milah to tomorrow. Yeah. What is the only thing that pushes away Shabbos? Mila, Shabbos. The Mila itself, maybe in theory, other things, that's another Shaila. The Mila itself you can't do it before Shabbos. The baby was 7 days old. Yeah. So since Mila is only today, not before, therefore it pushes away Shabbos. That's basically the rule.
Or if they couldn't find the morning, well, they couldn't bring the baby.
Oh, that is not funny. Actually, what you're saying now is true, and that issue is discussed in Tosfos. Very nice. Baruch shekivanta. I told you today's our day to see Tosfos. Good, no? Yeah.
Maybe the more couldn't get the baby.
Let's see. Let's see who should come to who. Zok the Tosfos. Rabbi Lezer Mem Lo Yavi Kli Meviim Shabbos Megula. Frag Tosfos. Why isn't there another solution? Let's say the knife is in one street, in Rabbi Akiva Street. No, Rabbi Akiva has an Eruv. Let's say the knife is in George Washington Street, and the baby is in Abraham Lincoln Street, and no Eruv in between. This is in, I don't know, somewhere, South Dakota. Yeah? So why don't they bring the baby to the Kli? Why is it any better? The Ashdaleka Isul Shabbos Klal. The Chaino says Atzmoy. Oh, remember after the Daled base? Amud Aleph, excuse me. A baby, according to Tosfos, even a 1 day old baby or an 8 days old baby is called Chaino says Atzmoy. What's Chaino says Atzmoy? It's a person, it's a living being that carries itself. Tosfos believes that applies to babies. Yeah? And therefore, there's no problem because according to Chachamim, a Chaino says Atzmoy. Yeah, by the way, it's not so simple. It's not Osir, it is also the Rabbanon. But at least the Isser is not as much. Why are you carrying a knife to the baby and you over Isudo Isa? Thank you, Rabbi Lezer. But at the end of the day, why would you minimize it and do a lesser Isser, just like you said, Akiva? What? Bring the baby to the knife. And then it's either allowed or at least muta, at least only the Rabbanon. The answers the cotton the cotton needs the mother, and After the Mila, you have to bring him back to his mother. And the mother is not in the bris Mila. She's sick, she's in a hospital bed. The Azabi Kofus Levishu Choyle, which means the Kitzer says Toisfus, you saw that's what I want you to see, that a baby once Gimalid is sick, at least for 3 days, if not more. He's been through a trauma, through injury. And therefore he's not called Chanos Esatzma because he's the Choyle. He can't really carry himself. The big question here is what does Tosfos mean? The Ramban says, the Rashba, I saw the Rashba. When I saw this Tosfos, my mouth was on the floor. Mechetesi, baby's Chanos Esatzma. It's not true. What's Chanos Esatzma? If you could walk. A baby can't walk. Well, Tosfos obviously doesn't believe me. No, look at Daf Tzadidalit. Tosfos contradicts himself. Because in Daf Tzadidalit, he himself said that a small baby is not Chanos Esatzma. Here says yes. I'm not sure what he means. Here says only because he's a Choyle. Mashmud otherwise, he's called Chanos Esatzma. Daf Tzadidalit.
No, but
So,
no,
one sec, I'll hear you soon. The Rashba, I open the Rashba, Oy Roi Einai. The Rashba says, no, a little baby is not Chanos Esatzma. He can't walk. He's very small. Maybe a baby that can hold himself, can cling on to you, that could be Chanos Esatzma when he's, I don't know, 3 months old. He can't walk, but he can, like, the Pshat Chanos Esatzma, according to Pshat, like, he kind of carries himself, like babies, when you carry them, they cling on to you. They support themselves to support you. But a very small baby, like like a dummy, is not Chanos Esatzma. That's what some Rishonim hold. Mimela, you can't, it won't help you. The Mimela, it's better to take the knife to the baby rather than twice. The baby will have to do twice. To take the baby is not Chanas Esatzma. You have to bring back to the mother. Stop twice. Better bring the knife and leave the knife there till Motzei Shabbos. Another answer of Tosfos, I'm skipping on purpose. Vodish Loimar. This is another big yisoid. Kevan de Yoiser Bekal Yovia Kli Mishiyovia Tinok Shara Blezer Kedelmaira Mitzvah. Wow. To bring the Kli, yeah, are you okay, Akiva? You good?
bring it before Shabbos.
No. On Shabbos. To bring he messed up. Whoever arranged the bris was not well arranged, or maybe was dire straits. But the Maisa, to bring the baby is harder than to bring the Kli. And therefore, Shar Blezer, Kedelemayra mitzvah, to make the mitzvah quicker, even if you say the baby is Chanos Esatzmoi, and it's only Sedor it's better to be Urban Isidor in order to make the mitzvah quick than Isidor and make it slower. Look at the end of the Tosfos. Shar Blezer Dershut Baze Lemayra mitzvah after Bishachlos bin Dershut. It's better to do the mitzvahs reason Makdimin to do it right now. How? Right away. Bring the knife. To bring the knife is much easier. To bring the baby, he's cold and he's this, and you wrap him and you shmep him and he's crying and the deed and the do. It's all story. To bring a knife, chach time, right? So to bring the knife, even though it's a bigger isser, unbelievable. They say that the two answers of Tosfos has to do is the Truya or Hutra. In other words, Tosfos' second answer is telling you it's not Dchuya, Lomdus, Yeshivish, yeah? In other words, it's not that Rabbi Lezer believes, but the Eved have no choice. L'chatchila. Once I'm allowed to do the mitzvah and I'm supposed to do the mitzvah the right way, I'll be over bigger isser to do the mitzvah properly. I'm not trying to be even mimai to be surim, because it's not that it's just dochui, it's hutra. I'm allowed to do it l'chatchila. I'm allowed to do anything I want. Mimela, I'll do it the best way possible, even though I'm doing a worse isser. Meshenkin, if you say dchuya means I'm trying. It's just okay, sorry for that break. That was Zoom misbehavior. Let me just summarize the lomdus of Tosfos. According to the first answer of Tosfos, we're still trying to figure out which Isser is the lesser Isser, right? No Isser Satzma, no Isser Satzma. That's what? That's D'chuya. In other words, the prohibition of Shabbos is there, but it's pushed away by the mitzvah of Mila. But we still try to make it okay and minimize the Isurim. It's only Dochui. But the second answer says Huto. It's just allowed L'chatchila. You're allowed to break Shabbos, even though you're breaking Shabbos and you could have avoided it. But since breaking Shabbos really makes the mitzvah better and quicker, you do it. Weiter. Let's just do a little bit of the Gemara. With a bit of time that's left. Iboilahu. Question. Time of the Blazer. Why did the Blazer say that when I take the bris mila knife from the street to the house, the oraisa, I'm supposed to have it uncovered and exposed. Mishum chibuv mitzvah, or dilma mishum chshoda. Let me explain. Although I told you one reason chshoda, so people should not suspect the moyel to be carrying other things inside. You have to expose. There's another reason, chibuv mitzvah. Says Rashi, lo dia shechaviv mitzvah olav shmechal Shabbos aleh. Maybe it's not just a way to remove chshad, it's also a way to show where the mitzvah is so dear to us that we are openly, we exhibit our love to the mitzvah and we openly, overtly do bris milah, even on expense of Shabbos, to show how much we love the mitzvah. That's the question. Or is it only to avoid suspicion? L'maynav kamina, who cares? La'atuya mechus al pi edim. Oh, what would be not in times of sakana? Baruch Hashem, Eretz Yisrael, Tafshin Pei Hey. As of now, you're allowed to do bris milah, and hopefully it will stay that way. So there's no time of sakana. Let's say I'm a private guy. I don't like everyone to see what I'm holding, what I'm carrying. Am I allowed to just have it covered? And I'll have to aid him. Oh, mishum chibuv mitzvah. No. If you say I have to expose it to show the love to the mitzvah, I have to walk around with a badge of honor called Sakin Mila, Migula in Mechusaloi. Only uncovered, but covered won't do the trick. Because even though the Eidim know, the Eidim can tell everyone after Shabbos, it doesn't do the trick. It has to be a parade, begaiva. If you tell me because of suspicion, then even if it's covered, it's okay. If it's just a technical thing, I'm not supposed to show that I'm doing the whole thing. I'm just supposed to avoid the Lashon Hara in town. Then, even in times of peace, as long as two Eidim are there and they can diffuse all bad mouthing, that's also okay, right? That's enough kamina. My itma, what's the maskana? Amar Blevi, Lama Blazer, Elch Buva Mitzvah. Blazer said that you have to have it exposed dafka to show the love for the mitzvah. Danamiachi, Mevir Megula, the end of Mechuse. See the double ocean? Bring it exposed and don't bring it covered with Eidim. Diva Blazer. That's what the Blazer says before Omar of Ashi, and with that we'll finish. Rav Ashi proves it from another point from our Mishnah. Nasnisi Namidaika. Our Mishnah also proves that point. Why? The Ktani, it says in Mishnah, when it's time of danger, not to Germany or some European countries today, you can't do bris milah, and you can't do it, but Megula, the goyim will catch you, then you do it al pi edim with the knife being covered out of no choice. B'sakona in, shalom b'sakona loy. Mashma that if it's not time of sakona, if it's Israel or America or England when bris milah is legal, then really what? Then you should not have it covered. Only because of sakona you cover. Mashma in times of Baruch Hashem religious freedom, then it's okay. Shma mina b'shum chibuv v'mitzvah shma mina. Why does it dafka have to be covered? Who cares? I'll get to eidim. Oh, why? To show the love for the mitzvah. Nobody will suspect me. I have the two biggest, nicest, biggest rabbanim in town know that I don't have anything else in the bag. So I'm having it dafka uncovered to show how much I love the mitzvah bris milah. Shkoyech. We will see the rest of Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you who came here tonight. Thank you to Mamles. Thank you to Torah Anytime and to YouTube channel of mine. Okay, Shkoyech. Thank you.